I think any time that you have a school-wide issue where students are taking on activism, there's going to be some spectrum of response from the community or even within the school as to whether or not they support this specific issue. It's not necessarily that the school is standing behind the issue or pushing students to take on that issue. It's that we're creating space and skills for students to pursue their passions and what they're passionate about. Now, that said, in the case of Black Lives Matter, it was different because the school board was proactively or actively taking a step to say that this is something that we're supporting. And that was a school-wide effort. It was a school-wide project that was sparked and motivated and given life and energy by our students.
A lot of history was taught, like a white history platform. We didn't learn about really Africa, like leaders, and I think when we learned about Black history, it started with slavery. And I think when you start with slavery, you kind of are taught that that's where your history started. I realized that I need to advocate for myself more than my white peers, and that was what we did. So I think patience is a big lesson I learned, that not everything will come through the first time, and trying again and having patience with it and trying again. And knowing that like your voice is important and you should speak your mind.
It's also a feeling that I as a person of color, it's difficult to be in a school that there are no other Asians. It's been really powerful to be able to work with these other, really motivated, determined people of color to help elicit these changes in our school that I think otherwise wouldn't have happened without our ideas and motivation.
When I first heard about the Black Lives Matter flag being raised, my first question was, is it about us, right? Is it about our police department or me in the school? Is there something that it's a response to? And that's one of the soul-searching moments, to sit down and listen to the kids and hear that this is really about their education, about representation, about not having a Black teacher, not having any literature to read from Black authors.
It had always been true, but students had never been either astute enough, informed enough, or brave enough to say it. They didn't feel safe enough to say it. It was such a moment of relief, and it just sort of felt like we'd arrived when students could say, but where am I? When they could look at me and say, you're great, but we don't have any teachers of color. I'm like, yep, what are you going to do?
It was a tough pill to swallow, to say that, wait, I'm not taking every student into account in my curriculum. What I do might be hurting some students. That was painful to hear and so important to hear.
When things got challenging with the Racial Justice Alliance, they got very challenging. And because it's racial equity work, it really takes a lot out on your psyche and your emotions. And so to have these faculty members and community members who are advisors be there to listen to us when we're freaking out about something that we think might go wrong. They were just always there for us.
Our principal, Mr. McGrath, he was the best ally. He was very supportive, and a lot of it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for his support. And he was always so supportive. He always made us feel like what we were doing mattered and that it could come true with hard work.
Seeing the principal like a person of power, like in the school system, it really just made me feel like supported in the school, like from the administrative side. I just think it's amazing how he basically made that his responsibility to try to take care of us.
As far as being an ally to youth, the biggest thing I've learned is trust. That although you can feel nervous when you're trusting young people with a lot of responsibility, they're really capable of that and they rise to that occasion. You know, the more responsibility given, the more they take that seriously.
You're always going to need some sort of adult help to make that change happen. And it's really important to have adults support the students and things they care about, and it helps them feel like they matter.
I think for our youth activists to see that there are adults who are listening and working with them, it's validating, first of all, and it's empowering, I hope, that they realize that this happened because you spoke up. And it's important that you continue to do that.
I think that we are very privileged to come from a school where many of our teachers and faculty here are really supportive of the work that we do. They look forward to it.
Well, when you think about like the potential for youth to affect change, I think that we all have learned in a broader cultural sense, and definitely in Montpelier, including myself, just how much they're capable of. They have a fresh perspective. They have fresh eyes on old problems. And that clarity can be liberating for adults that may have forgotten or just gotten into the routine of something, and it sort of wakes adults up in a way.
I think it gave me great connections and friendships and mentors. I know that the little actions we're taking is inspiring more people, and more people are taking the courage to speak out, even if it's like within like their classrooms, because if one person speaks out, I know it's a wave, someone else will too.